There are no shows scheduled within the next 24 hours. Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
Oh, I see what is wrong. All right, welcome back, True Seeker. This is a test. I was trying to see if I had this application set up right. And again, it's a test. So there's an error here right off the bat. I set up the show for 3 p.m., but maybe it's in a different time zone. Huh, that is weird. Bear with me while I figure out how to edit this. I thought I had this all good to go to start at 3 here. I don't get it because there was just now a timer counting down to show start. Yeah, and then right when we hit 3, now it shows that the show's supposed to start in 2 hours and... I hate when things are new. I think this is going to work, though. It's just, I don't know why this just now happened with it doing that about the show time. Shoot. Yeah, I wanted to make sure the call board worked, and I don't know, that's bizarre. All right, it's hard to do the test when see, this new application allows us to have a call board like TFR, and you have to, go through all the steps to set up the show. So I set up for 3 p.m. Pacific, I thought. And it did just give me a countdown until when the show was supposed to start, which was at 3 p.m. And now that we're here, now it's saying there's no show scheduled until 3 hours from now, which I'm just like, how's that even possible? Okay. Let me see if I can redo this. Here, I thought it was going to go off without a hitch. Shoot. All right. I'm trying to reset this back up so we can go again. Okay. All right, I think this is going to work in about 1 minute. I got to re-log back in.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your host PIN. When finished, press the pound key.
To start your show now, press 1. To hear important...
Your show is scheduled to start in 12 seconds.
Okay. Okay.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2,
That's more
1.
like it. That's more like it. Okay. Okay. I think we are live. All right, so now what I need from the audience, we're connected to the call board. I need someone to call that number on the screen to make sure this function works. And if this test works, I'll just sign up for the full thing. And I think it'll be a lot smoother because I'm using the trial version, which I'm guessing is a little clunkier than the actual real version. So if you want to be the first caller in the test show, now is the time. It is that number on the screen. It's not the number we typically dial because I got to use the number for this call board. So And we'll see if once I sign up for the full version, if the number's still the same. But that's what it is for right now. Glad to hear that, Eric. Yeah, the sun's peeking through out here too. The spray's wearing off. So, yeah, once we get the actual show going, it'll be a lot better than this. This is just essentially a test to see if we can make this call board work. So, oh, we got people phoning in. So I do have a call board, and like right now I can see that 5 people have phoned in. Here, before I take a call, I just want to see if people don't mind to continue calling in. I just want to see how many people can get on here. Hold on, Gary's trying to get through. Gary, what's up, man? I'm doing a stream right now.
What's up, man?
Nice stash.
Thank you.
You know I'm doing a live stream right now?
Oh, shit, I didn't know that. I'm sorry.
I'll call you back once it's over. It's not going to be long.
All right, brother.
I'll call you back.
All right, bye.
Enjoy the palm trees. All right, Gary's somewhere beautiful. Well, some people dropped off the call board, but again, I like what I see so far. All right, a couple people dropped out. Some more people dropped in. Like I can see the 407 area code called in, the 773, the 206, the 862, the 206, again, a different 206 caller. Seattle's representing. That's unusual. All right, it looks like this thing might work. Let's test it out. So first person to call in was the 407. And let me make sure. What are these? Mute, live, screen, hang up. All right, let's try it out. Screening callers is a premium feature. I'm not trying to screen them. I'm trying to answer the call. How do I take the call? Oh, that was screen. How do I take the call? Maybe it's this live button. 407, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. And for the people out there listening, can you hear the caller just fine as he speaks? Can you guys hear the person from 407?
Yeah, I just wanted to...
Yeah, just keep talking. I want to see how they hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I initially brought to you this idea of Blog Talk Radio probably maybe 1 or 2 months ago. You might have forgotten.
That's what we're using right now. That's what we're using right now. So it's fitting you're the first caller. That's what I'm trying out.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're in the back waiting to come on, it sounds perfect. Sounds actually a little bit better quality than the TFR in the background. So that's good. But yeah, so far so good. There's no issues waiting. And before you get brought on to the, before you unmute me, it tells you you are unmuted. So you know when to start speaking.
Okay. That's good too. Good recommendation.
Yeah, so, I'm at the gym now, so I just wanted to call it.
Yeah, I'm already happy with it. And I think it's going to be a go. So I appreciate the recommendation, Open Up. Nice call.
Yes, sir. Take care, guys.
All right. Enjoy that workout. All right. And let's go out to the next person line. Test them out too.
All right. And
Oh, I'm getting some feedback. 773. You might want to mute the video. All right, I'm gonna mute them because they're not. Again, usually when you call into like a call board, you don't need to continue watching on YouTube because then you're just hearing it through the call board. So it's just like, TFR and other things. You'll get the feedback if you don't mute the video in the background. Let's try out 862. 862, you're on.
Another thing to get feedback,
862?
It's 862.
Hello?
You're on.
86.
Hello?
They're doing the same thing. See, okay, so it's like this for any application on the internet. Like if you call into a call-in show, you gotta like mute your video in the background and then just listen through the call board. It's the same thing with TFR. So let's try out 206. See if they got it. 206.
Hey, Zach, can you hear me?
There we go. Perfect.
Can you hear me, Zach?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Actually, I can. I agree with the first caller. While you're waiting on hold, it sounds a little clearer than it did on TFR. I called for the first time maybe a week or so ago about Donald Trump, Vatican girl, when you were asking about waking up somebody. But yeah, the only complaint I have is that when it told me I was unmuted, it was really faint. So that's why I had to keep asking, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Because it the TFR version was louder, more distinct. This was almost like it was a whisper that I barely missed. So
Are you saying my voice?
matter.
Are you saying my voice comes through like a whisper?
No. The alert that the first caller was talking about, that TFR also does, it says you are now unmuted. Like it was a lot more clearer and louder on the TFR board than this one. Like at first, that's why I kept saying, Zach, can you hear me? It's because it happened so fast, the little warning, and it was so quiet. I wasn't sure if it was actually if I had heard it right or not. So, but that's a minor complaint, really.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. All right. People get in the routine once they know what to expect.
Yeah, I agree. And so I'll get off the phone. I just was I didn't have a topic today. I just wanted to help out with testing out the system for you.
I appreciate that. Thanks for being part of the test. And shout out to yeah. Thanks, man. You have a good day. Thank you also to X2 Trouble Music in the chat. I appreciate that generosity. Here, let's just test out a few more. 361. 361, you're on.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Thank you for everything you do. I was just trying to help test the system.
I appreciate that. Thank you for being part of the test. You have a good day. Appreciate the support.
All right, Brother Zach.
Take care.
You too, brother.
All right, let's go out to 860. We got 5 minutes of test time left, and then the trial membership's up. 860.
Hey, Zach. Yeah, that unmuted is kind of faint.
Okay.
In the overall scheme of things. But, love that you have this new soundboard. Shout out to Open Up, or not soundboard, but call-in board. And thanks for your knowledge on how to call, the first point scorers.
Well, hey, thanks for also being a great contributor in the years you've been here and building the knowledge bank and helping get the word out. And for doing it, you've built yourself up a pack of trolls. So.
Yeah, it's proof of the work. So thank you. Take care, Zach.
Yeah, indeed. All right, take care, man.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, somebody put out a music video trolling me. They even got him in there as a cameo. Oh, man. Let's go out to 530. 530. How you doing, 530?
Hooray.
Yeah, how you doing?
Hooray. Is this Clackery?
Oh, it's speak of the devil. How's that snowstorm out there?
Speak of the devil.
Yeah.
Speak of the devil.
Cuts, like, what is it that makes you want to? What is it that makes you want to go out and try and register the name "Wake the Fuck Up Radio" because you see that I'm doing it? Doesn't that just seem like a bad thing to do?
Wait, so you're saying I registered all your Wake the Fuck Up radios? It wasn't you that frauded everyone?
Who have I frauded?
Cold cut.
Who have I frauded?
Everybody, even a baby and a dog. You walk by, you
So,
fraud them.
if you're going to accuse somebody of frauding them, how did I fraud you? By promoting your channel?
Fake Gematria. You're a fake Gematria, that's why.
Well, we've gone over how it's not fake. It's very verifiable. Today's another great example.
Over how it's not fake. Really? Really? Is that for sure?
Okay, let's go out to 608. 608.
Hello?
608?
Hello?
608?
Hold on. Hello.
You're on. I hear you.
All right. Thank you for having me on. I'd like to announce that you guys ABC is 1, 2, 3. I'd like you to have a great day, Zach.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. His audio's a little bit hard to hear, but I still heard it. Might have been driving. Might have been why. 770.
Hey man, last time I called in was like a few years ago, talking about the Great Conjunction and like I think it was the Bengals and the Steelers and all that. But I just wanted to know, do these things kind of continue on like with the same timeline or storyline, I guess, or do they kind of just change up every year?
Well, a lot of patterns are very consistent each year, but you're talking about that Great Conjunction. That was 2 or 3 football seasons back, the Steelers and Bengals game, and you had Mr. Green of the Steelers dead before it at age 58, like Pittsburgh's 58. And if I remember right, the Bengals won. Or I have to go back and look, but again, Jupiter's the tiger planet, and the Bengals got the tiger stripes. But again, like a ritual like that's obviously not going to come up every season because the conjunction was happening and they had the game scheduled in tune with it. So yeah, there's consistent patterns that happen each year. Just like Steelers equals 31, Steelers 31 rituals hit every single year. But then you might have a special game on the date of something like a Great Conjunction or some other phenomenon, and of course that's unique to the season. So.
Right. So do you reckon, like, I don't know, many years down the line, something will tie into that conjunction thing and kind of be a callback to it later on?
Well, I'm sure that could happen. I'm sure that could happen. The next time there's a conjunction, they might have the Bengals and the Steelers on again, and you'll want to go back and look. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's exactly what they did last time, and likely the same thing happens again.
Well, I guess that answers my question. I was just wondering, like, how closely all these things, like, string together, if it's just, like, a web that just continues on, and it really just keeps on going. But, yeah, I guess, thanks. But
okay. Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. All right, we got a minute 50 left of trial time, and then the thing's going to go down, and then I'm going to have to pay for the membership, which I will. I just wanted to make sure it worked right, and looks like the feedback's good in the chat. And the nice thing about this is I can start using it, like I can just use it any time. Like if I'm not doing a blog post, I can still use this feature. It's an annual membership. So anytime I do
90 seconds.
There you go, 90 seconds left. Anytime you use this, or anytime I'm doing a call-in show, we can use this now. And like I was saying, then you don't have to compete with trying to call in on the cell phone, which is what we've been doing for years. I should have switched over to this long ago, really, so... I'm going to sign up for this service, and I'm going to sign up for a podcast service, and then I'm going to try to just get everything we do way out there, way more.
60 seconds.
So, 60 seconds. All right, we got one more person who wants to phone in. 203, you might be the last caller of the test.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right, brother. I'm out here in Connecticut, right?
Okay.
All right, bro. You know what?
You're good.
I didn't expect to get on. I was just going to test off. But anyway, I'm going to make it quick. I ran into you in 2013, right? And at that time, I was looking for numbers from my angelic number, right? And I ran into you. And a couple of times we went back and forth on YouTube in a comment list. And what I realized ultimately, it's because they believe
10
they control
seconds.
water. We are 80% water, 70% water. That's why they're able to control us in some form or fashion, because that's the underlining of what they believe in. They control water.
The most necessary resource, what makes life possible here on Earth. Okay. And we just learned something new. The timer ran out, but it's still letting you talk. So, okay, we know in the future if somehow our timer runs out, you can still talk past it for at least a period of time.
Well, that's just all I wanted to add to the conversation. That's what it comes down to, brother.
Okay.
It comes down to water.
Appreciate that thought. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, peace, brother.
All right. I don't think it's going to let anybody else call in because it says up on the screen show ended. But that's good to know that if somehow the show ends and you have a caller on, it doesn't just kick them off. It looks like you can, well, I don't know. Maybe we'd gone for 15 more minutes, it would have kicked them off, but it let us go past the expiration mark. So yeah, I'm gonna sign up for this platform. We'll have this now. I think I'll just start using it for, well, I'm gonna sign up for pretty much the max plan. I have to look again at what it says is how many calls per day. I think even on the max plan, there's still a limit to calls per day. If I remember right, I think it's 50 calls per day. But, the trial just said it was only going to allow 2 calls, and obviously we just did more than 2 calls, so maybe 50 calls actually doesn't mean maybe it means 50 different streams during the day taking calls. So we'll figure all that out, but I'm just thinking if I use it for the sports show, I'd say in the sports show we probably get on average 15, 20 calls. We do a live stream later in the day. I think we can use it for multiple things. So, but yeah, I'm happy. So shout out to Open Up. That was his recommendation, that platform, and it does cost a little bit, but I think it's worth it. And just out of curiosity, would you guys say that sound quality of the callers is a lot better than when I'm normally taking the call through my phone and I got the phone up next to the speaker? Did it sound a lot better? Sounds way better. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Much more clear. Okay, yeah, then that's good too, because that's just good for the show overall. So yeah, the one thing I want to say to you guys is, again, we're going to start doing, a daily podcast. I think I'm going to wait though until after next Wednesday, because I have to be somewhere next Wednesday at 7 a.m. And I'll think twice about it. Maybe I'll do it and I'll just take next Wednesday off. But I think that's probably going to be the time of the daily podcast. Again, it's called Wake the F Up, so should be in the morning time. And again, I'm out here on the West Coast, so 7 a.m. my time's 10 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, I want to do it Monday through Friday. And I was looking at the podcast platform that I'm also going to pay for because they help syndicate it everywhere. It looks like you can only do, on their max plan, I got to double check it, but I think it said 10 hours a month. So, I could still do extra on YouTube, but just for the actual podcast, if I'm doing it every day, 10 hours a month, if the podcast is 30 minutes, Monday through Friday, that's 2.5 hours a week. So a 30-minute podcast is 10 hours a month. Maybe that's the way to do it. What do you guys think? Do you think 30 minutes is too short for a podcast every morning, or do you think that's a good time? Do you think 30 minutes is a good time limit for a daily podcast? I'm not saying I'm going to stop doing everything else, but it's just I want to get an actual podcast, and I think I'll stream it on YouTube too, so you'll still have to watch it on YouTube, but it'll go out on all the podcasting platforms. Someone says spot on. Someone says too short. Well, the other option, if we do a longer podcast, again, I can always. It's just if I'm paying for that feature where it syndicates everything, I kind of want to maximize that. So, and if you only get 10 hours a month, then maybe it's 2 podcasts a week. Maybe you don't podcast every day. I'll still just be doing YouTube every day, but maybe we have 2 really dedicated podcast shows where we go over the top stories of the week. Do it for 47 minutes, yeah. So I can always switch it up too. I don't have to stick with it, but we can kind of fill it out. And the name of the game too is to get more exposure to the work. So if we find out a 30-minute podcast does better than an hour podcast, or if we find out the 2-hour podcast per week is better than daily 30-minute podcasts. So anyway, this is going to be the direction of things. But what I was going to say is I would like to take calls. Maybe some podcasts there's no calls. Maybe there's just too much information to cover. But I do like to take calls. I think it's more fun to hear from other people. It's just if you want to be a caller to the podcast, be on topic, okay? If you're going to call into the podcast, be on topic. And some days it might be just like an open discussion. It might be 5 different topics. But if it's about 5 different topics, then call in about one of those 5 different topics. I'm not high at all right now. My eyes just... if my eyes were high, you would see that they'd be bloodshot. But no, just normally my eyes are, just like, back when we were in high school, I had one of my teachers send me to the office on 420 because she was convinced I was high. I was like, my eyes look like this every day. I wasn't high that day. She's like, I'm sure you're stoned. You need to go to the office. Principal was like, it was the assistant principal. He's looking at me. He's like, were you smoking? I was like, my eyes look like this every damn day. So back then, weed definitely wasn't legal. Plus, we would have been minors. But yeah. So I mean, honestly, you can't tell if I'm high. I haven't smoked in forever, but and by in forever, I mean several months. But yeah, you'll always think I look high. It's hard. It's hard to tell the difference. So. Here, I'll talk about truth frequency. I see that question in the chat here. There's no more number to call into. It expired. But here, I'll answer this question in the chat. So, you guys remember Lucky? Lucky had the show before mine on Truth Frequency Radio. And she just called me up yesterday. And it's weird. I didn't have her number saved in my phone. And I almost didn't pick up because I didn't recognize the number. But I did pick up, and I was glad I did. And she said, hey, I got to let you know what's going on. And I said, well, thank you. Thank you for finally reaching out to me. And she said, I'm the only person who can still connect to TFR. She said, no other host has been able to connect for months. And I didn't realize that that's going on. So I guess I'm the only person still doing a live broadcast on TFR. And she doesn't know exactly why I'm the only one who can still connect. But I guess I'm the last live broadcast on TFR. And her and another gentleman from TFR have set up their own radio network, and it's called Truth Refugee Radio. And they invited me to come on there yesterday. They said if I want to do Truth Refugee Radio, though, they'd like me to stop doing my broadcast on TFR. And again, I'm a loyal person, I'm not happy that Chris Geo's ignoring everything and not taking care of the network, but it is him who gave me the opportunity in 2016. And, Chris kicked a lot of people off TFR, but he never kicked me off, and he could have kicked me off because I broke the TFR rule over and over and over and over again. And, I mean, he even let... The rule on TFR as you are a host is you are not allowed to beef with other hosts and critique what they were talking about. And as everybody knows, I would routinely point out that I was the black sheep of the network because I was the only one that wasn't essentially a Trumper. I shouldn't say the only one, but I was almost the only one who wasn't a Trumper. And just some of the other stuff on there that just drove me nuts, like Flat Earth. A lot of Flat Earthers on TFR. And again, nobody else was allowed to go against the other hosts. They all got the boot. But Chris let me, he'd always talk to me behind the scenes and ask me to stop, but then I just, me, I just can't help myself. There's things that piss me off, like Trumpers and Flat Earthers. And so anyway, I think there's also a reason that I'm the last one who he lets broadcast on his network. And yeah, the network is falling apart, but I also am hoping Chris, whatever funk he's going through, Lucky told me that he just doesn't care anymore. Just like, he's just mad at the world. And who isn't? But and also when Kev Baker died, she told me that hit him really hard, and he kind of felt like the network died when Kev Baker died, because if you guys didn't listen to TFR, Kev Baker was the only host that did it every single day for long hours of the day, and I'm pretty sure Chris paid him to do that. He was like the only guy who was compensated on TFR, and he passed away. And then Lucky was telling me that Chris was mad when he passed away because I guess Kev Baker got vaccinated for COVID. And he didn't last much longer, and then so Chris blamed him for dying. But Kev Baker I know Kev Baker had some kind of ailment. So anyway, there's some kind of drama going on. And, Kev Baker was a loss for the network. And I was surprised to hear that he got jabbed. I was like, really? He got jabbed? I think his doctors really talked him into it because he had all these medical problems already. And then they were saying he'd be even more compromised. And they probably scared him into it. But I'm not going to judge Kev Baker for that. I mean, he shouldn't have done it, obviously. But RIP to him. He wasn't a bad guy. And he was one of the only other hosts on the network who actually talked about my work and, promoted it. So, anyway, I guess these are all the things that factored into how TFR's fallen apart. Like, he was a big loss. Chris just ended up kind of just being burned out with everything. And it doesn't mean, though, that he won't come back at some point and resurrect TFR and make it a better network. So, I'm going to talk more about this Truth Refugee Radio thing, too. I would like to go on there. I can do this podcast. I can do Truth Refugee Radio. I can still do my Wednesday night show. Again, I mean, I just have to allocate my time a little bit differently, but I'm here on the grind every single day, as you know, for over a decade straight, and getting out on more platforms and more places, to me, seems like the thing to do at this day and age. So I'm going to talk to him more about getting on there and not having to quit the Wednesday night TFR, because I'm going to maintain the idea that Chris Geo is going to come back and, again, fix the network, and it'll be good again. And in a way, I guess I'm glad kind of that it's having this lapse, because it's now making me do the things I've been saying I need to get done, like the podcast, now realizing that there's this platform out there so that you can have your own call board. And, I was talking to my web team about what it would cost to build a call board, and they gave me a huge expense. So this is a lot better use of money than building our own call board. So yeah, that's what's going on. I guess Chris Geo is alive. He's stepped away. And it's like, man, it's like, why he put so much into building up TFR. It's like, I think whenever he comes back, he'll realize he made a mistake. But people make mistakes. I mean, the thing that sucks about TFR right now, too, is none of my episodes get archived. So it's like if you weren't there for the live show, it's gone. But in a way, I kind of feel honored that I'm the only person who can still do a show. And so that tells me at the end of the day, Chris really values my work. And he was like the only person out there who had a platform who recognized my work in 2016. And then he even gave me a spot on his own radio network. So that's why I'm always loyal to Chris, even though I don't like that he became a Trumper. And I think at the end of the day, I really do think at the end of the day, the only reason Trump became a Chriser, what did I just say? The only reason Chris became a Trumper, it was just to bring more ratings to his network. Again, I mean, selling out, it can do tremendous things for you. That Trump wave was a big old wave, but, and again, for all you guys who hate me because I don't sell out and I don't go along with your flat earth thing and your fake religion thing or your Trump thing or your whatever thing, you should actually respect that. Yeah, like, I'm not dumb. If I was just here for ratings and support, I realize doing all those things is tremendous. You make more money, you get more views. That's not why I signed up here. I did this for 5 years for nothing. So, had my weed business not been destroyed, I guarantee you I never would have monetized any of this stuff. I wouldn't have needed to. I'd have Team GematriaEffectNews in the bus had that thing not been destroyed. That thing was a cash cow. So anyway, and again, for the stuff I did monetize, I mean, could I have made it any cheaper? Look at the other people who've learned from me. They set up platforms and they charge a fortune per month to regurgitate what I do for mostly free. So, and they don't have any trolls. Anyway, Wake the Fuck Up Radio. It's coming soon. I'll decide when I'm going to do the first episode. I might wait until next Thursday because, like I said, next Wednesday I have a meeting really early in the morning, like at the time slot I want to be doing this. And what I can do for the next week, if I don't do the first podcast until then, is like really think about it and plan, do some research on what's smart for podcasts. Do they do better if they're 30 minutes and daily? Do they do better if they're an hour and twice a week? and also plan out some shows, because I do want to talk more. Again, I'm going to keep doing the YouTube Gematria thing like I've always done. That's not going to change. And I am planning, again, to broadcast on YouTube when we do the podcast. It's just it'll go out in audio form. But for people who watch the YouTube channel, you'll see the videos when we make it. But yeah, again, I do want the show to be more diverse than just like how my YouTube channel is mostly Gematria. Again, the things that I think every American needs to do: eat better, think outside of the box, stop falling for the deception. And it'll be those primary components that will fill in each episode. And you know what? I can learn a lot more about nutrition too. So I want that to be a good mix of the show, just talking about how to be healthier and knowledgeable about, again, what we're putting in our bodies. Like I said, one of the things that Sweet Lady learned about while she was going to school is just how much carbs cause headaches in people, and people don't even realize it. And again, I realize the food that really triggers my headaches is pasta. Like white rice doesn't seem to do it, but pasta does for whatever reason. And I used to just eat a ton of pasta, and I didn't realize that I was giving myself headaches eating all the pasta that I did. So, and now that I notice, now when I have pasta like maybe every other week, it doesn't give me a headache. But it's like something about it building up in my body is what was triggering headaches almost every day. And I was just amazed that I was in my late 30s and didn't realize what I'd been doing to myself all these years. And I'm sure there's a lot of little things like that people are doing to themselves and not even realizing. My dad's wife, she was on a cholesterol medication, I think Lipitor, and she had all this pain in her hands. And Sweet Lady said, well, that's because you're on Lipitor or whatever it was. She said that's like a huge side effect of that drug. And Sweet Lady told her, she's like, the cholesterol drug, instead of like being on cholesterol drug, just, get a little more exercise, reduce, your animal protein intake, and you won't even need the Lipitor. And, my dad's wife stopped taking the Lipitor, and then all of her hand pain just disappeared like in no time at flat. And she's way happier now. So the thing is, some of this stuff, like on a podcast, you can talk about way more too. YouTube might be like, oh, that's medical misinformation. It's like, no, it's not. Plus my Sweet Lady's a pharmacist. So I never thought I'd say that, but that's how it ended up. I got to see Sweet Lady go all the way through school, and then she was always going to be a dentist. That was her plan. And then she decided late in the game that she's going to be a pharmacist because she realized how that could help out the people in her own nation. And like I said, I always tell that story. I wasn't happy that she went into pharmacy because she doesn't really like pharmacy. But one of the first things she learned when she started pharmacy school was how people in the third world die from the simplest things, from malnutrition. And a big one is potassium deficiency. Potassium deficiency. It's huge in the third world because a lot of people are just like eating rice every day. That's like all their food is. And her family was a lot like that, but now that she makes a good income, she sends money back to Burma every month, and she's got her family eating well because those US dollars go real far in Burma. Like $1, I forget, is it's like 10,000 chuts in Burma. Sounds rich. It's like 10,000. It's like, oh, it's only $1? Crazy. But yeah, her mom, she went into like shock, and she couldn't move and she couldn't speak, and she was just like still and stationary, and they thought she was dying. And it was just crazy how it happened, because it probably happened like a month after she learned about this. And then she was communicating with her family through, the technology of the time. All things are double-edged swords, but she was using, a Facebook Messenger to talk to her family all the way over there. And she's like, listen, you need to tell a doctor to find a potassium shot and give that to mom. And they got her the potassium shot, and she just snapped back just like that. They thought she was dying, and that was back in 2018. So, and then last year her mom was remember last year at the beginning of the year I was telling you that it doesn't look good for Sweet Lady's mom. Sweet Lady, with her knowledge, got her mom on some meds. Again, it's like there's a time and a place for everything. Sweet Lady looked into her mom's conditions because she got the medical report back from the doctor there. and she looked at what was going on, and she's like, I bet if she had this and this, it would help with those problems. And her mom's like flourishing. And we were thinking, yeah, it was a little more than a year ago. It was January of 2023 that it was looking like maybe it was the end for her mom. But now she's doing great. Her nutrition's way better. And yeah, again, and those Asian countries over there too, man, there's just been so much experimentation that's gone on, and it's sad. It's amazing how many people in her country, like from her little village, just like die at a young age in their sleep. And anyway, she had the American dream. She wanted to come here and get an education and use that knowledge to help out her community, and she has. And I shared that story about her, and now you got trolls in the world that want to use the information and demonize her, and it's just like, listen, part of the reason I share the story is because, like, again, I wasn't happy that she was going into this profession, but at the same time, there has been real benefits that have come out of it. She's helped her mom's life tremendously, very well saved it, and from what she learned in class, she helped me see that it was pasta that was giving me headaches every day. I had to stop eating pasta on the regular like I did, so. Anyway, you can't always just jump to conclusions. So, thank you again, X2 Trouble Music, very generous, and shout out to AOA as well. And yeah, we'll leave it there for now, Truth Seeker. Podcast coming soon, and probably next Thursday. Next Thursday, I think, is going to be the start date. So, what day is that? Today's March 1st, so that must be March 7th. Oh, it's perfect. March 7th. What a perfect day to start the podcast. It'll be, you know what? It's crazy. Time flies. It'll be the 9th anniversary of the one and only time I got arrested. What a day that was. All right, True Seeker. Thanks again. You don't have to like and share this video. It was really just a test broadcast, but thank you to everyone who supports the work. It's a new month, and I really do hope this podcast brings in the audience and the resources to make some of the dreams come true, like the dreams I have. A Gematria Effect bus with Richard Quinn and Frank the Truth Tank and all the other truth seekers in there, driving around, pounding pavement, getting out the word. And, we got so much resources flowing in. We can take care of everyone's hotel, food, and really go city to city and be there on important anniversary dates and wake up people. And again, another thing that I would love to see, an actual studio where, there's a core group of people who work together each day to put this content out in a better way. We got a video editor there. We got some clever people. We got artists. And we're closer to that dream than you guys know. Again, there's certain things that I'm not sharing because then the trolls would be out trying to sabotage things. But things are expensive, you guys. Things are very expensive. Like one of these things I'm trying to do, there was something. It's a story for another time, but it's an expensive time, and that's why I always say, like, if we could reach an audience of 1 million people who were down for the cause, who just understood that it was worth $1 a month. $1 a month. 1 million people contributing $1. Imagine how much resources that is to accomplish a lot of things. And at the end of the day, nobody's getting broke over $1. So we're far from that right now. Again, it's the first of the month, so we dipped down below the 4,000 mark. So we got like 996,000 more people to go. Thank you to the people who do pledge more than $1 a month. There are a number of those people as well. But again, we have a tremendous message. We have a piece of knowledge that everyone deserves to know, and it's only going to get in front of people with a much greater effort. And shout out to Luna Bell again. Luna Bell, you just gave a huge donation the other day, Luna Bell. I really do hope you're a millionaire. Something tells me Luna Bell is not a millionaire. Something tells me Luna Bell is just a very generous person. But seriously, Luna Bell, as much as you gave the other day, like didn't I say? I said you don't ever need to donate again. It's just a few days later. 50, it's just, if you're a multi-millionaire, then thank you very much. But if you're not, seriously, make sure you have that rainy day fund taken care of, because we are living in hard times. I know why a lot of people have fallen off, in recent years. Things are very expensive, but again, I somehow, some way, we got to fulfill this mission of a lot more people contributing so we can do a lot bigger things. I really didn't think the way we were growing years ago that by 2024, because I've been thinking about this year for a long time, this next upcoming election. I was thinking we were just going to be following Donald Trump and all these people around and trying to wake up these crowds, you know, and that's what should be going on. It's just, the resources aren't here to do it right now. And so again, the world's going to keep moving. Before you know it, 2028 will be here. I'm thinking by 2028, and hopefully sooner, we'll accomplish everything I'm talking about right now. So here's to the next 4 years of grinding. All right, True Seeker, have a great rest of your day. There's a chance I might do another video if something happens in the news. Yeah, I'll be back as soon as I need to, as soon as there's a big enough story that's worth reporting on. Thinking we can wake up a few more people, but yeah, the podcast is coming. And one more time, shout out to Open Up. I really appreciate his tip about this website. And for anyone out there who podcasts, maybe if you want to get back to me, I already forget what the name of the thing is because it's a weird name. But for the podcast, I'm planning on... Hold on. I already forgot the name of it. For any podcasters, let me know if this is the right call. Buzzsprout. I was looking at the different services you can use to help syndicate your podcast. And based on what I read, it sounded like Buzzsprout was the way to go. So if anybody is familiar with the podcasting, feel free to leave a comment later if Buzzsprout is the right one or if there's a better choice. But yeah, I think those are our tickets. Shout out again to Carl as well. Thank you very much, Carl. Appreciate that. So yeah, yep. And by the way, if you guys also want to leave comments about things that you'd like to see on the podcast, maybe there's things you think that I'm neglecting, not talking about enough, I'm open to the feedback. So shout out to congrats to the winners again as well. But yeah, so in the description of this video, this is the good place to leave a comment. If you know about Buzzsprout and you think it's the way to go, from what I read, seems like the winner, but maybe I'm wrong. And if there's certain things you'd really like to see on the podcast, maybe things you think that we're not covering enough, things we should cover even more, things you definitely want to see on there, just whatever kind of feedback. Again, I know as a community, you guys will have the right ideas. So we'll leave it there. And until next time, True Seeker.